Hi students, welcome to News Analysis by SPR. Today we're going to see a news analysis about recent time in Supreme Court. There is an issue that who is called as minority. That is the issue. Let me explain what is the minority and majority, then we can go in detail into the topic. If you are considering a region, there is a maximum number of people, more number of people are present is called as the majority, and those who are lesser in number and lower in population is considered as the minority. So minorities has unique culture, society, social status and everything. To protect them, minority is need to be given a major importance. So based on the issue over here, recent time Supreme Court, there is a PAL to consider Hindus as the minorities. As a nation in India, there is an issue called whole over nation. We have a few religious minorities and so-called linguistic minorities. So when you are coming to the minority in constitution and political and exam perspective, we have two sections. One is a religious and other is a linguistic. If the less number of people are speaking some languages, they are considered as a linguistic minority, and less people are following the some religion is considered as a religious minority. So who will define this religious minority and linguistic minority? Who are this religious minority and linguistic minority? Why they need to be given importance? Those are all the topics that I'm gonna discuss, and also what is the definition of minority provided based on the UN, and legal basis provided for them and constitutional basis provided for them, and also what is the stand of Supreme Court and what is the definition of the minority. That is the thing in issue we shall discuss in detail. Okay, in recent time in news, there is provided that in Supreme Court there is a PAL that centers challenging the stance, changing stance, which means center initially had announced a few so-called a few religious as the religion minorities, but now it is changing its stance. So why it is changing its stance? Because it is there is a issue called giving a minority tag to Hindus in certain states and union territories. This was the issue in news. We shall see in detail of the issues. Actually, previous judgments and previous constitutionally, it has been provided that right to notify minorities. Who is minority is to be defined, or it is vested with the center, which means central government has the power to decide who is this minority. But now the issue has been multiplied. What is it? Let me provide a detailed review of the population of religious people above age of 18, adult religious population based on the 2011 census. Hindus are being present as 81%, which means maximum number of population, and next stands the Muslims, next Christians and Sikhs and Buddhist and Jain. These are all the list of population, those who are belonging to the different religious groups and adult populations. Now who are minorities? Based on the definition of UN has already defined this minorities means socially, politically and economically non-dominant and inferior in populations are minorities, which means if you are considering a regions or particular area, those people are socially and politically lesser in number. Inferior in population means lesser in number, and also economically also non-dominant population, then they are to be considered as the minorities. This is particularly defined in the UN. But what is the legal basis for minorities in India? In India, section 2C of National Commission of Minorities, National Commission of Minority, NCM Act 1992 doesn't define this minority. There is no proper definition of minorities in this NCM Act, but this NCM Act has provided that the central government has the power, and it is the authority who will notify the minorities in India. But and also as per the notification, still 2014, recent addition is Jains in 2014. Previously 6 communities based on the central government additions: Muslims, Sikhs, Buddhist, Parsis, Christians and Jains are to be considered as the minorities in India because of their populations at the national level. It is also based on the national level. This minorities is announced by the national level. Remember that stands as important. But after section 2F, National Commission of Minority Education Institution Act 2004 has been passed. In that also they had mentioned that minority means communities should be notified by the central government. This authority, see, two acts, one is National Commission for Minority Act and also other is National Commission for Minority Education Act, Education Institutions Act. Both the things has mentioned that only the central government, see here this stands as an important, central government has the power to notify these so-called minorities. But constitutionally what you consider is that here minority term is defined in 2 articles of the constitution, mainly in article 29 and article 30, and in that there is no definition of the minority. Actually, it is also provided that the discretion of the central government, only the central government has the authority to decide who is minority. But Article 30 provides that we have two minorities in India. One is linguistic and the is religious minorities, which means they have a right to establish and administer the educational institutions of their choice, because certain religious institutions, like based on the Islam, they call madrasas, and Christian institutions, there are religious institutions. To establish them and also protect their linguistic and religious minority, they have a freedom. It is a fundamental right under the Article 30. In the same way, concurrent list of Indian Constitution Article 24 mentions that entry 20 that economical planning and social planning of the concurrent list. 7th schedule also provides that both and center has the power to confer minority status to a certain religious or linguistic communities. And also Article 350b of the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act, this is a Constitutional Amendment Act 1956, it also provides that a special officer for linguistic minorities can be appointed by the president, which means president has the right to appoint a special person as a linguistic minority, and also it is his duty to investigate and relate the safeguard the linguistic minority issues and these things. And also, based on the Supreme Court identification of minorities in India, TMA Pi Foundation and State of Karnataka 2002, a court issue, which means a case has been going on, that there is a definition on who must be defining the religious and linguistic minority has been issued. And also Bal Patil issue, Supreme Court judgment in Bal Patil also referred the TMA Pi ruling, and also it is the state has a right to define the minority, linguistic and religious minority in the state. And next, based on the summary, actually recent time in news it is in rise because a public interest litigation has been filed by Supreme Court to declare Hindus as a minorities in 8 states. As usual, we know that there is no Hindu declared as a minority nationwide, but if you are considering statewide based on 2011 data, few Hindus, a few states and union territories, Hindus have stood as a lowest number in population. So why you must consider them as a so-called minority is that because, if you are considering overall in data per se, and also union government programs, there is a many programs benefiting the minorities, like 20,000 scholarship for minority students. These 8 states, Hindus stood as a minority, but they didn't get this benefit. So this has been raised in this PIL. Now Supreme Court petitioner has said that who can declare this minority. Actually, this has been forwarded to the Supreme Court forward and asked the petitioner to approach NCM, National Commission for Minorities. But National Commission of Minorities said that only the central can declare a community as minority. Then this center has power to NCM Act 99 based on the NCM Act 1992. But Supreme Court again asked the central government. Now the Supreme Court is getting bored. Now they should ask NCM, again they should ask central government, but they are not responding in a proper manner. What is the response of the union government? Union government has responded that only we will discuss with the state governments and we will decide. Actually, based on the rights and these things, it has been provided. Center can decide, but there is no definition as per se provided. But it is been rotating all over. So it is irritating Supreme Court. This was the issue, and this is how who can be declared as a minority. Presently, this is what happened in a constitutional and also legal basis, but we know that only few communities has been declared as a minorities, like Muslim, Christian, Sikhs and Buddhist and Jains. Okay, this is what about in news. For much more updates and continuous news analysis, you can like, share and subscribe to this channel. This is me, SPR, signing off. Have a nice day. Bye bye, take care.